Deutsches Museum is the largest museum in the world devoted to science and technology. It was founded by Oskar a German electrical and constructional engineer. He is also the name patron of our school, the Oskar Gymnasium, due to the fact that he had graduated there in 1874. The Deutsches Museum offers a huge amount of all kinds of exhibitions on over 50,000 square meters. From an accessible real-sized reconstruction of a mine, a submarine from 1906, a sailing ship, the very first automobile made by Carl Benz in 1886, to astronomy, and probably the most famous of all, the exhibition for heavy current engineering. Now we will show you 3 experiments regarding this section. In the first experiment, a high voltage of 280,000 volt between 2 electrodes causes a flashover, which you can see as a lightning. An isolating glass panel between the electrodes forces the current to go around the panel, which creates a fascinating effect. The last experiment shows how a metal cage can protect you from any electricity when you're inside the cage. Such a cage is also called Faraday cage, after its inventor Michael Faraday. This effect also protects you from being struck by a lightning when sitting in a car, for example. As members of the seminar for astrophysics at our school, we are mainly supposed to make a video about astronomy. Fortunately, there is a huge exhibition for this topic at the Deutsches Museum, and especially the room displaying the development of the universe since the Big Bang gives us the opportunity to show you how the universe we live in emerged. To this day, we do not know why the universe began to evolve. Nevertheless, the most people are convinced that it all began with the Big Bang about 13.7 billion years ago. In the first fractions of a second, the universe was very hot and dense, but it immediately started to expand inconceivably fast, and therefore it began to cool down. Within the first second, the elementary particles neutrons, protons, and electrons were already developed. After 1 second, the temperature had dropped to about 10 billion degrees, low enough so that the neutrons and protons could form the first atomic nuclei, mainly hydrogen and helium. Then for a long time, nothing spectacular happened until, 380,000 years later, the temperature had dropped to 3000 degrees and the bound protons and electrons were able to combine the free electrons and form the first atoms. Now, after many of the free electrons were bound, the photons could move independently for the first time, and so the universe now was transparent. 1 billion years after the Big Bang, the gravitation was big enough that many of the hydrogen and helium atoms together could form the first stars. By nuclear fusion inside the stars, all other atoms, such as iron, were formed. Over the years, many of these stars together form galaxies. If such stars explode, some of the leftovers can form planets. In the following years, the temperature dropped further until about 270 degrees Celsius, or 2.7 Kelvin, which is the current situation. In the future, the universe will keep expanding, and not only that. The rate of the expansion is accelerating because of dark energy, a strange phenomenon which delivers the energy needed for this. Therefore, the universe will die one day, and there are 3 theories that explain how this will happen. The first one is called Big Rip, and says that the rate of the expansion once will become so huge that the gravitation in galaxies can't compensate this effect anymore, what will cause every single particle to fall apart. The second theory, called heat death, says that as a result of the expansion and the radiation, everything in the universe will someday reach maximum entropy. This means that there will be maximum disorder so that every particle has the biggest possible distance to other particles. Much more positive, but unfortunately also more unlikely to happen, is a theory called Big Crunch and Big Bounce. According to this theory, the dark energy in our universe will become weaker and weaker, whereby the gravitation will be the dominating force. This first will cause a decrease of the size of the universe, and someday a new Big Bang will happen. This theory also implies that there already has been an infinite number of universes in the past, and that there will be an infinite number of them in the future.